Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Sadie, and today I'm doing a video on foundation and to how to stop it from caking. Little tips and tricks. One of my subscribers and a friend of mine on Instagram asked me how to stop foundation getting cakey and other little things like that. So basically I dedicate this video just to do my base and show you different products, and yeah, I don't know what else to say really. So if you'd like to know how to stop your foundation caking, a little bit of help with pores, skin types, foundations, just keep on watching. I haven't brushed my hair in days, because what is the point with this shite hair? My partner's jumper, I ain't even got a bra on. But yeah, excuse me looking like a pile of shit. Alright, so I'm doing this video because a friend of mine, Chelsea, recently commented on my Morphe 39S eyeshadow palette, and she just explained to me about how to stop getting cakey foundation. So I thought I would just, while I was doing this eye look and while I was obviously going to sit down and do the rest of my face, I may as well just record this video. So this video is basically going to be me applying my foundation and showing you little tips and tricks that you could use to stop your foundation getting cakey, and also with your nose area with pores and it staying on, because I have those issues sometimes, and there might be certain ways that some people might know how to. I might not know everything. If anyone got any tips, let me know. So Chelsea basically said that she has issues with cakiness and pores and keeping it around her nose. And I think the problem is with a lot of people is that they might assume it's the foundation. Normally, actually, it's everything else. It's like your skincare. You might not have the actual right foundation or even primer. So I can't remember who I was speaking to. Can't remember. But I know a friend who literally just said they just go in to a shop like Superdrug or Boots, and literally was like, oh, I just picked out something because it said primer. And they're like, and it's not staying on my face, my foundation isn't staying on my face. And I was like, are you oily naturally? And she was like, yeah. And I said, what primer have you got? And it was for dry skin. So normally a little bit more hydrating and we'll let the oil come through, but we'll get more into that anyway. But it really is down to everything else. Your skincare and your face is your canvas, and obviously you have to pair with products, but normally it's not even the makeup, it's just your skin. Simple as. You need to base on what your skin is. So for me, I'm oily in my T-zone, which is what you normally see, and I'm quite dry elsewhere. It doesn't look dry. I'd probably say it's like normal to dry, so that gives me like a normal combination skin tone. Obviously if you're dry, you're dry, simple as. Or you can be normal and have beautiful skin, whatever. So you do really need to determine what your skin type is. So if you have dry skin, you want a really nice hydrating moisturizer. So I like Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Base. Obviously it's a moisturizer. You can literally use this for skincare as well, so you can use it in the night and day. This has shea butter in it, vitamin C and E, so really nice and hydrating and good for the complexion of the skin. Smells very lemony. I hate lemon, but I tolerate this because it's very nice. You don't need a lot of this as well. For more oilier skin, you want a bit more of a mattifying primer. There's loads on the market, and there's some I think you've got to be a little bit careful of. Like, I know that a lot of people like Professional from Benefit. I really don't like it. I don't rate it. I don't rate a lot from Benefit, to be honest with you, because I remember I tried it and no word of a lie, I had a ring of white. No matter how much I blended out, where it stopped, I had this, like, I had literally had a ring of white on my face. So my favourite personally, I haven't tried a lot of primers, I'll be honest, because I've always sort of been in and out of retail working on counters, so I've always had a lot of stock and a lot of products. Has always kept me going for quite a long time. But my absolute favourite, and what I've thought is best, is Urban Decay Optical Illusion. So this is a primer. This has rosehip oil in it, so really good for your skin, and argan oil, and it has no silicone in it. It's not a silicone-y, oh my god, I'm so burpy, texture to them. And I think, I'm not sure if Benefit do, but they have that. You know, with most of the mattifying ones, they've got that greasy, silicone-y feel. Might work for you, whatever, but I cannot stand them with a passion. I hate the feel of them. And plus they're slippery. I just feel like the foundation just doesn't sit on them, even though they're meant to be mattifying. But this is beautiful and lovely soft. I use this all over as well, but normally when I do my base, because I have pores, everyone has pores unless you have no oil in your skin. Problem is with pores, and I mean it's not a problem, but once you have pores, that's it. You can like make them a bit smaller, but just embrace them. Alright, just embrace them. You can buy pore refining peels. I have this custom blot drop from Cover FX. I mean, it doesn't really do much, but definitely when I wear foundation, I like to use this on my T-zone area because it sort of helps with the pores. But this is really, really nice. You can literally just sort of pat it in and it literally fills your pores in. Not to 100%, it's one of those things you sort of can't get rid of, but you can help sort of like, just a little bit, help them out a little bit. And the thing is with this is pink, so it's got like a really nice, not illuminating as in it has a glow to it, but just a natural pink glow, so it just helps brighten the skin. So I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to show you. So what I actually like to do first is that I like to put my more hydrating one on. Oh yeah, so if you have dry skin, I forgot to mention this one. I really, really love this XX Revolution Aloe Vera Hydra Quench. This is really, really nice and hydrating. I really like this one. And actually I'm going to use this one today because I want to. This is so weird though. It's like you put your finger in and you don't know if you even like picked up any product, but it is there. It's so weird. It's like you can't scoop it out either. It's very bizarre. So I like to put this one on first. Just rub it in. I know a lot of people can use brushes as well for primer, but I preferably like to use my hands. There's not a lot of stuff I actually like to use my hands, but that's my own issue because I hate stuff on my fingers. Literally, if I'm eating like a pack of crisps, every mouthful I wipe my hands. I can't stand it. But you want the warmth for it to really melt into your skin. And before I carry on, obviously, like I said, your skincare routine is going to play a huge part in your makeup. So if you are oily, there's great products out there. There's products that will literally, you just need to read and actually like look at the skincare and what it will do for you and what it's made for, because it's absolutely pointless you putting a moisturizer on that isn't going to help if you're oily or dry, and it's not meant to be oily or dry. So now I'm going to go with my Optical Illusion. I'm going to pop this on just like so, just a little dollop there, and I'm going to pick a little bit, put some on my nose. I like some here as well, and I'm just gonna, can you sort of see how like that it's smoothed out here already, and I'm sort of just gonna sort of slightly tug and drag where I've put it. So I mean, I haven't got the biggest of pores, you know, but I know there are people who do have a little bit more larger pores, so you can see I've definitely got pores here. So what I'm just going to do is just slowly push it in, patting motion more than anything. There's a difference, you know, you can't 100% cover them, but you can definitely help them a little bit. Like I said, because it is this sort of type formula, it is mattifying as well. Like I said, I have an oily T-zone. Pores are created by oil. So, Chelsea, if you have quite large pores, you are probably going to be oily. Maybe in just your T-zone, but you probably are going to be oily. Because the more oil you produce, hello, thank you, you know, it is normally the case that your pores are a little bit normally larger, but you can literally see straight away. I mean, they're still there, they haven't gone, but it's definitely like helped mattify and diminish them. No, not diminish, what's the word, is it, no, make them smaller. I can't even think, but just make them smaller. So she was also explaining to me about acne. A great way to cover acne is, the thing is, like she was saying, she was on about a full coverage foundation. Sometimes a full coverage foundation isn't always needed. Great way is, oh, I've got one but it's in my drawer, I'm not getting it, sorry. Lazy. Is a green corrector first. Cover your acne with green corrector, because normally acne, I mean, I could be wrong, please let me know, normally has redness. Green is opposite to red on the colour wheel. So you I hate doing that. You want to cover it with that first, just to help reduce the redness just a little bit, because the thing is now once you put a foundation on top, you might not need all of that foundation coverage. And to be honest with you, I normally, especially when I was on counter, unless someone was like, I want my face to be nothing there, I'd be like, cool, full coverage. But normally I just say to people, just go in lightly and just add the coverage where you want it. You don't need to do your whole entire face with a full coverage foundation. And a lot of assumptions, especially when I worked for Estee Lauder, double wear. People never used to believe I would wear double wear on the counter because I just used the smallest amount. And the thing is with this bottle, and I think this is how Estee Lauder make their money, is that a lot of things, like, I mean, this is like nearly £40 foundation and doesn't even come with a fucking pump. You have to pay £5 for the pump. Is that the thing is people just dollop it on their hand and they feel like they need to use every part of what they've put on their hand. Whereas normally I would literally just get my thumb, because it is quite a big hole, and I would get my thumb and I would just use small amounts and I would build it. I wouldn't just chuck it all on first. So with full coverage foundations, hard to explain. Well, it's pretty easy. You cannot get a dewy full coverage foundation. Full coverage will always be matte. So if you are dry and you're going to use a full coverage foundation, you need to prep the shit out of your skin. You need it moisturized and hydrated, because that, like, it doesn't exist. Even like this Urban Decay Stay Naked, which is my favorite, it's a demi matte, so it still has a matte. It's not full, but this is a buildable foundation and it's a little bit more hydrating, but it's still matte. Definitely foundations like this are matte. Conceal and Define, Urban Decay All Nighter, I'm pretty sure the Bare Minerals one is, Lancome is. I haven't really tried much cheaper, to be honest with you, but most of the time I'd say 95% of foundations that claim they're really, really full coverage tend to be matte. So if you are more dry, look for a really nice hydrating. The Stay Naked one's nice, even though it's demi matte, it's a natural matte finish, so it doesn't like cake on. Like I said, I'm quite dry and it doesn't do that. I know you got Conceal and Hydrate. I'm pretty sure the NARS, like NARS Sheer Glow, and that what's it called, Natural Radiant or something like that, that's really good. You want something that might be a little bit glowy as well. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to apply my foundation, and I'll talk you through applying my foundation and different tips and tricks as well. So this is my absolute fucking favourite foundation I've ever used. To be honest with you, Urban Decay's normally been my foundation. I've never actually really used to use full coverage. My first foundation was Dream Matte Mousse. I mean, and then actually I tried NARS and I hated it, the Sheer Glow, but that was just because I had I didn't have a shit experience on counter, but the guy literally picked up the wrong shade for me and he put it all over my face with his fingers and didn't even blend it. But I felt so obliged, and this is a problem with counters, especially in bigger cities. You feel so obliged to spend it and say no because they press you so much. And I hated it. I didn't like that foundation. That didn't sit well because I don't think it suited my skin type at all. And then I went on to Urban Decay Naked Skin, and that's all I really wore. And then obviously I went to Double Wear because I worked on Estee Lauder. They had one called Nude Fresh, which was really, really nice. That was a light coverage. Like I said, I normally used to just have a really natural foundation. Oh, I did try Illamasqua, but that did suit nice on my skin, but I think my skin changed. Obviously your skin can change in the environment, different times of the year, so I think just then and then it didn't sit well with my skin. I just went off it, to be honest with you. This is quite a lot of foundation for me. I have been liking wearing a little bit more foundation than normal, and plus I have to mix two of these anyway. So I just put about a pump in half, but normally I put a pump of foundation on, or like I said, if someone wants a really natural foundation, I literally sort of tease the pump and I just get a bit at a time and you just build it then and there. So I personally like to use a brush. So I like to use my Urban Decay optical blurring brush. This is great for any foundation. If you have brushes like these, I look mental, but where's my brushes? So you know the brushes that are like these, duo fibre, they're more for natural. These cannot hold thick foundation textures, whereas this one can. And then if you really wanted a full coverage full coverage. I don't have one to show you, but you'll get it. This is what I meant by duo fibre brushes. I know you get the ones that are a little bit longer. These are beautiful for a natural finish. Why have I like let this sit on my face? But you know the foundation brushes that literally look like paint brushes, they are for your fucking full coverage because it's literally too painted on. I like to use this and I'm just going to blend it in. The great thing about this as well is that, oh my god, my ass, is that actually it was designed to have like this beauty blender effect in it as well. So actually if you bounce it, it sort of gives that effect that a beauty blender would as well. So sometimes in the areas where you feel like it's cakey, less is more. So if you have acne, so you've already put your green concealer down, you can put a little bit of concealer on top if you wanted to. I would, just a little bit, and we'll get onto concealers in a second. But that's another good way as well. If you feel like you have too much foundation on, if you're using a brush, keep on buffering it into your skin so it doesn't really sit on the top layer of your skin. I probably look dead as right now. It actually really does match my skin, it's just my ring light. And you just keep on blending. Or another way you could use is a sponge. Ignore how dirty it is. Just literally sponge off the excess. Also in certain areas, I learnt from Soph actually, she creases a lot on her inner smile lines and she literally goes over with a sponge and she said it really helps. So you just got to take it off the excess. Concealer. I like to use Stay Naked from Urban Decay. I like the Conceal and Define as well from Makeup Revolution. I actually haven't used that many concealers. I do like my Conceal and Hydrate from them as well. I used to love Naked Skin, but that's obviously discontinued. That's a very natural hydrating concealer. So like I said, it's more just a case of finding out what your skin tone is and actually reading, or even just ask the people who are on that counter what skin type these are made for. So this is very full coverage. It still has the demi matte in it. It is a more hydrating concealer, but it's still matte. So I like to use this. I like to use a couple of shades actually. So I'll put 20 NN just underneath my eyes. And like I like 30 NN then because it literally like sort of matches my skin tone. So I have a couple of spots at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just place them on where I have them. And I just like, no, I'm going to put a little bit more chin. I just like to let it sit for a little while. So if you were doing your foundation with acne, like I said, put the green concealer on. Yeah, green colour corrector is normally in a concealer form. I would just put a tiny amount of concealer on them, then let it dry, let it sit. Don't pile it on straight away because you have to let the product sit. Because the thing is, if you're just putting concealer on top of another concealer straight away, it's just going to mix together and it's not going to settle. So I don't normally care if I have a spot and it's not like 100% covered. But actually what I like to do, if there's a spot, I just actually like to press my finger on it and then blend around it. I feel like that's where you get like the most coverage out of it. I feel like when you put a brush on top, it just not brushes the product off, but you have to realise spots and acne are different skin textures to what your actual skin is. So normally I used to get people who used to have like fresh spots come on the counter and it physically cannot sit on top of this fresh spot that's been burst or broken because it's either liquidy or it's completely different texture. So just remember that sometimes they are a bit of a pain in the ass to cover. So if you do have dry skin, try your best to avoid, why am I really itchy under here? Try your best to avoid powder. Even though I'm quite dry, I love to mattify my face, so it is just also preference. Do what you want to do. There's no rules to makeup, but as how Robert Welsh says it, it is a theory, and I completely agree with him. So especially with the pore area and the nose area, if you know you're oily, just lightly, obviously like I said, the more cakier, the more powder you're going to put on, the more cakier and the more drying it's going to be on your skin. So just very lightly go over with powder. So I'm just going to go in with my Laura Mercier translucent powder, just taking a little bit on a brush, and I'm just going to pat it over until I feel satisfied with how much powder's there on the areas, very lightly where I put the more concealer for the blemished areas. So with foundation, sticking to your nose as well. Like I said, literally could be the case of wrong primer, wrong skincare, or just the general wrong foundation for you. So normally if a foundation isn't sticking to your nose, your nose could be oily and the foundation needs to be a little bit more mattifying. So just very lightly go over the nose first. Actually, a trick that I think James Charles introduced, and actually I do agree with it, is putting a bit of concealer on your nose. I actually really like to do that. If I have a little bit of more of an oilier day and like this foundation isn't sticking to it very well, I actually do put a little bit of concealer. When I blend it from under here, I actually like to add it to my nose, and it helps mattify it and helps really stick to it. Concealers normally have more pigmentation to them, hence why people use them in certain areas. Like especially with these, I think it's like a 20% difference in pigmentation. So definitely just keep an eye out what concealer you're using. So I'm just going to quickly finish off doing the rest of my base. And then there's one more little tip and trick that I can show. Well, it's not much a tip and trick, but there's just another item that could really help you with the stopping your foundation from caking. But I'm just going to quickly carry on doing the rest of my base, and I shall be back. If you do have texture on areas, just remember, like I said, to pair products right with your skin type or what you want to achieve. So I have a lot of texture, but I don't give a shit. I like to be blinding and I like my cheekbones to be glowing. So I'm just currently using MAC Double Gleam, which I absolutely adore because it's a really, really nice soft formula. Whereas if you look at the Jeffree Star Skin Frost, they're very, very chunky and thick, so they will emphasize my texture a lot more. But just remember, highlighting an area will enhance anything. So if you use just a little bit more of a natural, softer, like what's it called, Mary Lou the Balm, yeah, highlighter, that's a really beautiful subtle highlighter, but it still gives you a nice glow. Or like those ambient lights from Hourglass, just to give your skin a bit more of a glow, not so mattifying, but it just doesn't emphasize any texture as well. So last but not least is setting spray. Setting spray is a great way to get rid of excess powder and let the makeup melt into your skin, so it can help like not be so textured and not so cakey. But always remember, some brands have setting sprays that are linked with different skin types, like Decay. All Nighter is for all skin types. I'll explain a little story now when I get after this. All skin types up to 16-hour wear. They have one called Chill, but that's discontinued, but I know some stores still have it. This is great for dehydrated skin. What's the other one? Then they have De-Slick, which is for oily skin. So they do have one that is targeted to, and they have Ultra Matte and Ultra Glow now. But yeah, definitely All Nighter really, really helps, or any setting spray as long as it's fine and okay, really helps melt the skin. Melt the products into the skin so it doesn't look as powdery. So you have to give, especially Decay, a good shake to activate the ingredients. Also, I saw someone on about Skindinavia being exactly the same. Right, so I used to work for Urban. Skindinavia produces this All Nighter, but it is not their, I haven't got any Skindinavia, but you know, just the normal setting spray, it is not the same thing. It is produced, like Urban Decay personally collaborated with Skindinavia and created this patented technology, so it is not the same as the Skindinavia ones. So I'm just going to give my face a couple of spritz, while I'm going to drench my face in it, to be honest with you. Obviously make sure you get every area, don't touch your face, just let it naturally dry, or get something to dry it with, nothing, but just let that sink in. I also feel like it gives a little bit more of a natural glow, but not glowy either, you know what I mean, like if you were oily, but it definitely helps. So a story I have is that I had two people who used to work with in Debenhams who are both oily. One gets on really well with De-Slick, the other one gets on better with All Nighter. So sometimes a little bit trial and error. If you can get a setting spray in a travel size or deluxe sample, definitely grab one if you can. So this is my base done. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope you found it informative. I do chat shit and I always forget other little bits, and it all comes into me and I can just be a bit full on, but I also hope I helped you as well. Chelsea, if you ever want to message me, because I've got you on Insta about anything, please let me know. Same to anyone, I mean, comment down below or give me a message on Instagram if you ever wanted a question about anything. I'm more than happy to answer and talk to you. I've got no issue. So once again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and give me a nice big thumbs up. At the end of the year, I want to do a nice big giveaway when I hit 700 subscribers, so please don't forget to subscribe for a chance to win some goodies, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you've got any if you've got any video suggestions, just leave them down below. If you want to learn anything else or want to know about anything, give me a shout, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.